I'm Patrick.
This is Will.
And I'm Chris, and we are Guys with Character. That's right. This is our first and debut episode. Are we still going to call these issues? Should we still call them issues?
No,
Episodes.
Yeah,
We're going to call them
yeah.
episodes, even though we're going to do cover art. We're doing episodes. No swear jars.
No swear jars.
So, thank you for joining us for your first bonus episode. We're with Guys with Character, part of the Guys with Issues franchise.
We're franchising, baby.
Today we're going to be talking about Squirrel Girl. She is the character we've chosen to spotlight because our good friend Patrick
That's me.
loves this character.
I do.
And Will and I have never read her.
Nope.
So we thought, what a better way to intro a character segment with a favorite of one of ours.
Yeah.
And for those of you who missed the announcement for this is going to be a weekly release alongside our standard issue we release every week. This will come out on Mondays, as it should be today. And this is a good way for you to learn about a specific character and to hear some of their notable achievements and their villains and their origin. And maybe it'll pique your interest and there'll be a character you want to read about.
Yeah.
Right? Is that right?
Sure.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. That sounds good. Let's do that.
So, without any further adieu, we're talking about Squirrel Girl. We're going to learn that her real name is Doreen Allen Green? Aline? How would you say that, Patrick?
I don't even know
Doreen
how it's
Aline Green.
There you go.
Probably Aline. I'm going to go with
Probably.
Aline.
Yeah.
Also
She's,
known as Squirrel Girl.
Probably bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, am I right?
She
I would say
is.
so. Her debut was in Marvel Superheroes Volume 2, Issue 8 in 1991.
Yep.
So she's a modern character. Mm-hmm. She hasn't been around too long.
Wow, she's just a little older than me.
Wow.
Wow, that is really sad that,
You hear that, Will?
91 is older than Will.
You haven't been around too long.
No, you're a modern character.
Oh, yes, I am.
She was created by Will Murray and Steve Ditko. Steve Ditko is super famous in Marvel Comics.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he's worked on anything notable, basically, from the Silver Age of Marvel Comics, Silver and Bronze. Steve Ditko worked on it.
Nice.
Pretty much. So, at the age of 10 years old, Doreen suddenly began the ability to speak to squirrels.
Dang.
And over time, she started to manifest other squirrel-like attributes. And at 14, she went to the doctor, and her parents wanted to know, is she a mutant? Is she
They waited 4 years?
a mutant? The answer is no. She's not a mutant. It is unknown as to why she has these squirrel-like abilities, at least that I read.
So she's the ultimate cosplayer?
Sure. She dressed like a squirrel. In her debut, she attacks Iron Man, hoping to prove herself as his new sidekick.
That tracks.
And he says, no thanks.
That also tracks.
And he ends up getting captured by Dr. Doom. Good old Victor Von Doom captures Iron Man, and Squirrel Girl comes to his rescue.
Nice.
And that is her debut issue. So some facts about Squirrel Girl. She has minor super strength, being able to lift over 800 pounds.
Nice.
Super jaw strength. She can chew through metal. She can jump 2 to 3 stories high. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
She has small claws that allow her to climb. So she got a little bit of squirrel meets Spider-Man.
Right.
She has knuckle spikes that can pierce wood. She has a slight healing factor. She can communicate directly with squirrels. She carries a bag of nuts for her squirrel friends
She does.
that she affectionately calls Her nutsack.
No, that's true. That is true.
She has defeated Wolverine and Deadpool since
She
we've talked
has.
about them.
Yep.
And her very first squirrel friend was named Monkey Joe.
Monkey Joe.
And Monkey Joe, I believe, meets a demise at some point. But that was her first squirrel sidekick, Monkey Joe. So yeah, there you go. The origins of Doreen Aline Green, also known as Squirrel Girl.
Yep.
There you go. So what do you guys have? Who's
I
starting?
didn't know if we were going to do spoilers or not, but since you already mentioned
I'm not worried about spoilers.
the death of a certain Monkey Joe was actually at the hands of the villain Leather Boy.
Leather Boy?
Leather Boy.
Did he want the skin of the monkey? I mean, the
Wow.
the squirrel. His name's Monkey Joe.
I know. I
Okay.
understand that.
My brain.
Yeah. So Leather Boy is a rejected GLA member, the Great Lakes Avengers.
Oh,
I'm going to talk about
So-
the Great
yeah,
Lakes
you
Avengers.
are. You
They're like the Midwest superheroes, I guess.
Yeah,
Yes.
they're a sister to the regular Avengers.
Yeah.
They also
but-
had the West Coast Avengers, which
and
were
the
also
East Coast Avengers.
But yeah,
but they were the good ones,
Right.
the East Coast ones.
Sure.
he disguised himself as Doctor Doom and killed Squirrel Girl's sidekick Monkey Joe.
Wow.
Because they rejected him.
Yep.
Wow. Wow. Volatile.
That
so
tail's
do you want
nuts.
you want to touch on your mention of the Great Lakes Avengers then?
Yeah, sure. So, I'm just going to read what I wrote.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Expound if you'd like.
Right. So, the Great Lakes Avengers, it isn't like just because I did stories. Like,
Yeah.
Like some of their notable stories. So, the Great Lakes Avengers isn't a story per se, but is
It's a
bunch.
team.
It's a team. So she's not in like every issue, but the ones that she's in are. Anyway, I'll read it. So, a downplayed sister team to the Avengers, brought together by a newspaper ad. People like Hawkeye, Mockingbird, Grasshopper, Doorman, and Monkey Joe.
Wow.
For Monkey Joe. Some of the misfits in the Marvel Universe. These stories are where the best of Squirrel Girl often shined. She left voluntarily, but before she did, she helped win big battles against the likes of MODOK.
Oh, a machine only meant for killing.
Yeah.
No, only designed only for killing.
Only for killing.
That's
Yep.
what it is.
Yep, he's on my list.
MODOK is on your list?
MODOK Superior,
What you got?
There you go.
one of the villains who teamed up with Doctor Doom to take revenge on Squirrel Girl.
Oh, it was a revenge thing.
Yeah.
Probably because of the Iron Man thing.
Maybe.
Oh, man. It's all
It's
tied
all-
together.
I was going to say, it's all coming together.
Yeah. Also, Squirrel Girl defeated Thanos.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, it took all those Avengers together to try and beat him. Squirrel Girl soloed.
Solo Thanos. Yeah, I didn't actually have that one.
Didn't she fight Galactus too at some point? Did you have that?
I do have that one.
Do you have that
I
one?
do.
Patrick,
Don't have.
tell us about that.
So Squirrel. This is in the story called Squirrel Girl Meets Galactus.
Okay.
She's called the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl for a reason. She was able to outsmart and defeat Galactus, one of the most powerful beings in Marvel Comics, using her wits, resourcefulness, and the aid of her squirrel allies. I didn't find a lot on it, but that's what I got.
I think he comes to do his normal, like, I'm going to eat Earth,
Right.
and she gets him to, like, go eat something else, is what it is.
So
isn't
I
it?
think she actually like befriends him and convinces him not to eat Earth, and then he leaves.
Yeah.
Type of thing,
Says, go find yourself a different snack.
pretty much.
Right. I did find some like meta things that people wrote about the villains of Squirrel Girl. So it says the parody of over the top villains. Right. So Squirrel Girl's villains are often absurd, ridiculous, and exaggerated. Blah blah blah. For instance, Doctor Doom's robotic duplicate Doombot is a comedic take on the iconic villain's persona. This parody pokes fun at the seriousness and grandeur often associated with supervillains.
There you go.
And the other one I thought was interesting was deconstruction of villainous archetypes. When does this go away? Squirrel Girl's villains often subvert or play with traditional villainous archetypes. For instance, the villainous... why is this doing this to me? The villainous Morgan Le Fay is a feminist re-imaging of the classic Arthurian character, using her powers for good and questioning the traditional notion of villainy. This deconstruction adds depth and humor to the character.
Interesting. I didn't know that. So they do like different spins on on old villains. That's cool. I'm sure you'll know about that when you read your omnibus.
Oh, I'm doing this research really made me want to dig into that omnibus. I'm telling you what.
I bet. Do you have another one, Patrick?
Yeah. I'll
Were you done with that part, Will?
Yeah,
I didn't want to cut
yeah.
you off. Okay.
No, I'm
it
good.
sounded like you were done, and that's why I bounced back to Patrick.
So here's one that I thought was a little interesting. Girl Squirrel versus Squirrel Girl.
The person's name is Girl Squirrel?
So,
Or is it a girl squirrel?
so teaming up with Thor and Loki, Squirrel Girl helps defeat a shape-shifting Asgardian named, and I'm going to butcher this name, Ratuski, or something to that effect.
Okay.
Ratatuskur.
I think I think in the myth that doesn't that squirrel chew on the roots of Yggdrasil in Norse mythology?
Maybe.
Sorry, I
very
read
possible.
a book on that one time.
Anyway, and that Asgardian has been on Midgard pretending to be a superhero named Squirrel Girl. The story reportedly also does a good job humanizing Loki, particularly through how he befriended Squirrel Girl's college friend, Nancy.
Really?
Yep.
Is that in the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl? That would be in your
No.
omnibus? Oh,
Well, so the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl is in my omnibus,
yes.
but that part is not in the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl.
Oh,
So, but it's probably in the omnibus,
maybe. I don't know. Hopefully for you.
hopefully.
If not, you'll have to find where you can read it.
Right.
Other notable team-ups, Squirrel Girl and the Hulk had to join forces to defeat the Abomination.
I think that was the first story, part of the first story line,
Oh, really?
where she teamed up with the Hulk. Yeah. I believe so. I could be wrong on that, but I believe so.
So she's fought like everybody.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow, that's crazy. So she said she is a very she's one of those like cult favorites.
Yeah, I mean, she's great. What can I say?
You're like, period.
Period.
Do you have another one?
Yeah, I got two more.
Do you have more as well, Will?
Not really.
That's
Okay.
all right.
We'll let Patrick roll then.
Yeah. So she also did. So this wasn't a story arc or anything. This was just a single issue, but it was a choose your own story.
Like a choose your own adventure book?
Yeah. So I said this is less of a storyline and more of a one-off. It takes the concept of choose your own adventure novel, reintroducing it to the comic book form. This issue sees Squirrel Girl and her aquatic pal, Koi Boy,
Like KOI.
B-O-I, yes.
BOI KOI.
K-O-I space B-O-I.
Oh my gosh.
Koi Boy.
Koi boy.
Facing off against the Swarm, a Nazi made out of bees.
Oh, I did see the swarm, yeah.
What? This is absurd.
I know! It's wonderful!
That's why you like
Yeah,
it.
the swarm, a sentient swarm of bees and a Nazi who was defeated by Squirrel Girl when she threatened to activate the sprinklers.
There you go.
Wow. Jeez.
I did actually find one more thing in that other article. It's like a self-aware meta-villains. Some villains are aware of their own ridiculousness and absurdity of the Marvel universe. For example, the villainous Madam Hydra is a parody of the typical Hydra organization, with a leader who is more concerned with her own vanity and fashion sense than with world domination. This self-awareness adds to the comedic effect and pokes fun at the conventions of the genre.
Interesting. I didn't know that she had gone up against Madam Hydra. Man, she's in one of my favorite stories called Secret Warriors.
Cool.
I have the omnibus of that, or compendium. It's the whole.
We should read it at some point.
It's all spy stuff, and it has an amazing twist.
Sweet.
Yeah. Anyway.
And then the last one, and I don't know. These are in no particular order.
Yeah.
But the last one that I have written down is Squirrel Girl beats up the Marvel Universe.
Yeah, that one's from just a few years ago, I think.
Right.
From what I read about that, it's like they took Deadpool
Kills the
Marvel Universe and just made a parody of that.
Yeah, it's funny. My favorite superhero is a big parody. Huh? Who would have thought?
Yeah, with your love of things like Weird Al, I could have never guessed that would be on your radar.
I know, right?
Or Mel Brooks.
Who'd have thunk it?
Mel Brooks and Weird Al and Squirrel Girl.
And Squirrel Girl, right there, perfect.
Patrick's favorite.
That's a party
things.
I would like to go to.
That should be a Squirrel Girl comic where she teams up with Weird Al and Mel Brooks.
That would be amazing.
To defeat Hollywood.
It would literally be Patrick's favorite comic.
It would, literally. Nothing would be able to.
So what do you got to tell us about?
So this one is more of a synopsis, since I read it.
It's his turn to be a Roomba. Hit us, Patrick.
Tony Stark creates a device that glitches and creates an exact clone of Squirrel Girl. The clone decides humans are what's wrong with the world, and the clone tries to change the world by putting squirrels in charge, so she beats up and imprisons any humans or superheroes that get in the way.
Wow. So does Squirrel Girl defeat Squirrel Girl in the end?
Squirrel Girl defeats Squirrel Girl.
Does she befriend her army of squirrels? Do you know?
I know.
Because you read that one. Didn't you read it?
I did.
That's the one that you loan out.
That was the first one that I read. That was the one I grabbed from Discount Books or whatever it's called.
Yeah, and that's what made you
the
fall
one
in
I've
love.
been loaning out to people, and I was like, Squirrel Girl's the best.
And so he's like, I'm not spoiling the story. You can borrow it if you want.
Yep, I know what happens to Squirrel Girl's clone.
Awesome. You guys have anything else to add about Squirrel Girl?
Nope. Sounds like fun. I think we should add it to the reading list here.
I'd be all right with that.
I kind of presumed that it was already going to be on the reading list at some point.
Well, I mean, I'm going to read it, so either way, it doesn't matter.
If we throw in some other comics in between, while we're reading a Green Lantern, like Black as Night, maybe we could do Squirrel Girl.
I mean, we do have 2 weeks to fill before October, so. But that's a discussion for the Wednesday podcast, not the Monday character.
Teaser.
So next week, we will be doing Reed Richards of the Fantastic Four. Mr. Fantastic.
Let's go.
So that was one of the other suggestions before we settled on Squirrel Girl. So we're going to do Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four. Mm-hmm. Look forward to that next week.
I will.
No, I will.
Oh my gosh, I thought it in my head.
Patrick.
And I will.
And I, Chris. And we, guys with character.
Not much,
the
but
character's
some.
starting to come out.
You can catch Guys with Issues wherever you can find your favorite podcasts.
Or check out our website at guyswithissues.com, where you can listen, find reading lists to follow along, and get to know us better.
Send us emails to longbox@guyswithissues.com and tell us your thoughts, or send us suggestions on what we should read next. We would love to hear from our listeners.